Whether it's images from Midjourney or text created by ChatGPT, generative AI has been all over the place recently. What if we could harness that technology and use it for editing our own handcrafted photos with natural language? Here's what that could look like. We could use natural language processing to take the words that come out of our mouth, combine that with AI image editing, and have a big upgrade to our photo editing experience. Let's be honest, applications such as Photoshop, Capture One, even Apple Photos, they're not always known for having the most intuitive user interface. There's an entire industry of training just around how to use photography software. I mean, folks like Kelby One or ppa.edu or lynda.com, which is now LinkedIn Learning, that they offer courses on how to use this software to help you level up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those courses. I'm partners with some of those organizations, and I'll have links down below if you're looking for that kind of training. But what if we didn't need that training because we could just tell our software using regular words what we wanted it to do? Computers started with command line interfaces. You probably remember learning MS-DOS back in the day, maybe. Then we got Windows and mouses and touch interfaces. ChatGPT came onto the scene, and now it's like a command line again in some way. AI is getting built into the search engines. Bing integrates with ChatGPT. Google has its SGE, its Search Generative Experience. I wrote a book in 2021 about how AI and photography were coming together. Got a second edition of that in the works. There's a lot more on that at my website at techphotoguy.com. But let's look at AI, natural language photo editing, and what that might mean. So what I'm going to show you here is my screen where I have Photoshop up. So this is me using Photoshop in the traditional way. I might want to make a square crop of a photo. And so how I would do that now is I would, pick my crop tool or my selection tool. I would tell it that I wanted to go to a fixed ratio, 1-to-1 square. And what Photoshop does by default is it just drops that right into the middle of the image. Well, what if AI were a little smarter with that crop? It would look at this photo, it would see, it's not quite square up, so we're going to maybe square that up. Maybe we're going to bring it in so that we're not, including this weird stage line at the back down below. You can probably crop in a little bit as well. And so it's going to give me a smarter crop than just, what it gave me by default. Here's the thing, instead of doing this with the crop tool, what if I could just give a command to Photoshop, either by typing it or by saying it with my voice, and say, give me a square crop and clean up around the edges. So here's an image I recently entered into a photographic image competition, and when I do that, I want to put a matte and a border around this. Now, you can use a Photoshop action for this. I have such an action, but I want to show you manually what the steps are right now. It's a multi-step process. I would start by, doing a canvas size. I would expand the canvas. Let's say I'm going to add, 200 pixels each direction relative to the center. I've done that. Now I want to fill, I want to put a stroke around the layer here. So I would say edit stroke, 4 pixels is good. It really wants to do this crop. We're not doing a crop. 4 pixels is good. Now I want to do a fill. So I would take my paint or bucket tool. Whoops, I forgot to switch my colors. Take my paint bucket tool. I'm going to fill with white. All right, now maybe I want to add that second set of the borders on here. So once again, I'm going to go to image, canvas size. Make sure I'm in pixels. This time, let's say I'm going to add 400. I'm going to give it a wider outer border, 400 relative. There we go. Before I fill that, I want to do another edit stroke. Put the stroke on. Then I'm going to take my paint bucket tool, fill it. And so now I've created this simple white border around my image. Okay, that's great. Even with an action, that's one thing we can do traditionally. What if I could just type into a box or tell Photoshop, put a double matte border on this with a white background and a black key line? That'd be pretty cool, right? Let's take another example. I've got this photo, nothing too exciting, but I've got the back end of several people here. What if I wanted to remove those distractions? Now, there's any number of ways we can do that right now. If we want to get a little bit more, modern with that, we could use artificial intelligence. Maybe I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say quick selection tool. And I want to select, all these people here. So I've selected all these people. I want to get rid of those distractions. And so I'm just going to delete them out of there. And then I'm going to tell it that I want to do a generative fill and let it be smart about what it wants to do. And so now I'm using AI generative fill to replace those people in this photo. It's generating, it's thinking, and it's come up with something pretty plausible. I can look at a couple different options it gave me here. I can see we've got the edge of the selection there that's involved. I'm not going to worry about that for right now, but let's just go with this one right here. Now, what I've also can see is I've got some, there's some leaves and debris on the path. I can, clean those up with my healing brush or my clone tool. I could, say I want to, select this as a source and whoops. Oh yes, we must rasterize our smart object, but I want to get rid of that. And same kind of thing. I want to get rid of that here. Maybe I want to get rid of this leaf down in the lower left. Oops. Oh, got to make sure I'm on the right layer. Get rid of this leaf down in the lower left. There's another one here, another little spot there. So I'm just cleaning up the path here at Apple Park. Maybe I want to get rid of these kind of like, oil stainy looking places over here on the right. What if I could just type into a box, remove the people from the path? What if I could type into the box, clean up the debris on the path and end up with this same image? That'd be pretty cool. Let me jump over to Lightroom. A couple other examples, right? So I've got this photo right here. If we zoom in, maybe we want to lighten her teeth. Maybe we want to whiten them a little bit. Now I can do that manually. I can go to my develop module and instead, what if Lightroom had a box where I could just type whiten the teeth? How easy would that be? And so whether we do it via a text interface to describe our changes or whether we're using our voice for control, I'm excited about the possibilities of giving natural language commands to photo editing software. That combination of AI detection of objects and shapes and body parts combined with the ability to perform that text processing of our typed or our spoken word to provide another way to get those darn computers to do what we want. I think this is something that's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it in software, whether that's Photoshop or Luminar or Apple Photos or Google Photos or whoever makes this happen. I think this is going to be a fun, new, accessible way to get to our desired photo results quicker. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more of this kind of thing soon. Take care.